Welcome back to Story Spin Cheating Confessions Edition, where we dive into some of the best cheating stories that Reddit has to offer. Let's spin it. My girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend, and the worst part is how easily they both turned on me. I'm 28 and just need to get this off my chest, because the last couple of weeks have completely broken me. I found out that my girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend. We've been friends since we were 10. We grew up together, went to the same school, spent most of our lives side by side. He was basically family to me. When I confronted him about it, I expected at least a little guilt or an apology. But he just flipped. He started insulting me and saying things like I wasn't man enough for her. Then he started dragging up personal stuff I had shared with him over the years. Things I told him in confidence. He used everything against me. No remorse, no shame, nothing. It was like I was talking to a completely different person. I thought she might at least be honest or emotional about it, but when I asked her about it, she was cold too. She told me I was being dramatic. She said things like, "It just happened," and even tried to make it sound like I was partly to blame for not giving her enough attention. There was no real apology, just indifference. And the part that hurts the most is not even the cheating. It's how quickly they both became strangers. These were the two people I cared about the most, and they both acted like I never meant anything to them. It's made me feel like I don't know how to trust anyone anymore. What's messing with my head is that I'm more heartbroken about losing my best friend than I am about the relationship. We had 18 years of history, and he threw it away like it was nothing. Now I just feel empty. I keep thinking that if the two people I trusted most could do this so easily, then how can I ever feel safe with anyone again? 18 years of friendship, gone in a heartbeat, and with your girlfriend no less. Then they both act like you're the problem. It makes you wonder if you ever meant anything at all, or if trusting anyone again is even worth it. Moving on from betrayal by your best friend to betrayal on your birthday. My husband cheated on me on my birthday. May 20th was my birthday. I turned 32 years old. This year, my husband forgot it completely. No gift, no happy birthday, nothing. And then he spent that day with another woman, a 23-year-old woman. It's the first time he's ever forgotten my birthday. He said it was just an honest mistake. He's had a lot going on. His mom passed away, his sister relapsed, and his nephew's in juvie. It's been a rough year. But still, that's no excuse for forgetting my birthday, and definitely not for cheating on me. When I confronted him, he brushed it off, said it's silly that I still care about birthdays at my age, that I'm too old to make a big deal out of it. Then he grabbed his wallet and handed me $50. Wow. As for the cheating, he said he was drunk, horny, and she was there. Wrong place, wrong time, he said. We hadn't had sex in 2 months, and apparently the temptation got to him. Then he actually said this to me. When a pretty girl wants to sleep with you and actually hits on you, you're gay if you don't do it. Really? Why would he say that to me? Why would he be that honest? I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to know. I'm in utter shock. My whole life just flipped upside down, all because of him. It's been 7 years. We've built a life together. We have a child together. And now I can't stop thinking about how insane it is, how much we trust our spouses, and how they can just break that trust in a second, ruin everything. This is going to crush our kid. He's so attached to his dad, and I don't know what to do. That's a horrible situation, especially on your birthday of all days. She just wanted to celebrate, and he was busy planning a betrayal. What a terrible person. How do you blow out candles and pretend you're not being burned? If you thought that was harsh, wait till we dive into this one. She cried after cheating on her husband. With me, I didn't even know she was married. Yeah, this whole thing feels like a fever dream. I met this woman, and we clicked instantly. Real chemistry, deep conversations, good vibes, all of it. She started opening up right away, said stuff like, "I haven't felt this way in years," and "You make me feel alive again." At first, I thought, okay, maybe just honeymoon phase energy. But the way she talked about it, it felt real. She kept saying how deep the connection was. And then, out of nowhere, she drops this line, casually, that she and her husband just finished their divorce. Pause. Husband? Up until that moment, I had no idea she was married. She just kept talking like it was no big deal. Said after the first time we were intimate, she felt this overwhelming emotional connection. That night, she realized she needed to choose herself, that I was what she'd been looking for. And then she told me she cried. She cried after cheating on her husband, said she didn't end the marriage right away, but mentally, she started checking out after that night with me. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there, stunned. Like, what even is this? Now she keeps asking me, so what are we? Where's this going? Like, we didn't just skip a massive step where she maybe should have told me she was literally someone's wife. She says she truly loves me, that she wants to be with me. But I can't shake this feeling. That I wasn't someone she fell for. I was just the exit sign she ran toward when the fire got too hot in her marriage. I don't know. Part of me wants to believe it's real. The other part feels like I got pulled into someone else's mess without even knowing. She cheated, then cried like she's the victim. Meanwhile, this guy, he falls for it, feels bad for her while she's busy blowing up her marriage. Newsflash. If she'll stab one man in the back, she'll do it again. And next time, it'll be you. Finally, a story where the cheating comes with a calendar invite. So yeah, she's a mess, and he's just enabling it. But don't get too righteous just yet. This last guy, he's got a girlfriend, a long-term lie, and a yearly tradition with his ex. The annual hike with my ex. Some years ago, I decided to challenge myself with a 2-day hike a few hours away from where I lived. I'd never really done anything like it alone before. The trail could be done in a day if you're fit and know the route. But I got lost and stopped to take in the views. So I ended up camping twice. A couple of years later, I met a girl and fell hard. She was my first love, and within 6 months we moved in together. A year and a half in, I took her on that same hike. It was amazing. We didn't rush and finish late on the second day. We did it again the next year, though we had to camp twice due to bad weather. It wasn't quite as magical, but still good. By year 3, our relationship felt different. I suggested we do the hike again to recapture what we had. We had a decent time, but the spark was gone. Shortly after I ended it, I thought she wasn't happy. The breakup wrecked me. I went no contact. I quit my job, moved back in with my parents, and isolated. I stopped doing anything that reminded me of her. No TV shows, no games, no cooking. About 8 months later, I tried reclaiming my life. I watched our old shows, cooked our meals, even played Mario Kart. It hurt, but eventually I started enjoying them again. I figured I'd do the hike again, alone, symbolically ending it all. I even had someone in mind to ask out after the trip. The day of the hike came. I was nervous and almost bailed, but I pushed through. At our old camping spot, I saw a tent, same spot we used to use. I didn't see anyone, so I set up nearby. That night, I heard someone talking on the phone. It was a girl's voice, sounded just like her. I froze. I was 90% sure. Next morning, her tent was still there. I saw her. She waved, I waved back. She came over, it was her. We hiked together, talked, laughed, caught up. That night, she joined me in my tent, saying she heard noises and was scared. She got in her sleeping bag, naked as always. I barely managed to sleep. Next morning, I woke up spooning her. I was unbelievably turned on. I left the tent to take care of things in the woods. She called for me, and I eventually went back. She was sitting up, sweater barely hiding anything. She unzipped her bag, gave me a full view. We kissed, then had sex. Twice. It was incredible. We didn't talk again until I got home and checked her Facebook. Turns out she had dated the guy I suspected during our final months. I fell into a depression again. I eventually dated someone new, but I wasn't in love. I clung to her to not be alone. When the annual hike came up again, I went. She was there. She asked to share my tent. I agreed. Same deal. She got naked. I left the tent twice that night to relieve myself. Next morning, we kissed and fooled around. I stopped before we went too far. I didn't want to cheat. We finished the hike early, sat on a bench, and talked. I told her I wasn't happy in my relationship. We kissed again, messed around some more, then went our separate ways. I broke up with my girlfriend that night. Since then, I haven't talked much with my ex. I blocked her again eventually because it was too hard. But I kept thinking about her. When the hike came around last year, I planned to go. Work tried to call me in last minute. I said no. I raced to the trail. She was there. We hugged. This time we didn't even hike far. We found a spot and just stayed there. No tent, just a mattress and blankets. We had sex constantly. Even tried things we never did before. We stayed for 3 days, skinny dipped, laughed, lived, then went home. I haven't spoken to her since, but I think about her daily. I'm still in love with her. Now the date is coming up again. I've heard rumors she's getting married. I haven't asked around. I don't even know if she has a boyfriend. But she's been texting me hints, teasing me. Photos and slutty camping gear. Phrases like, bring protection from wet weather and cat attacks. I know what I should do, but I also know what I'm going to do anyway. These two are so selfish. He was getting into a relationship during this, and now she's engaged. Yet, every year, they sneak away to relive the past like no one else exists. But people do exist. People who love them. People who trust them. And those are the ones caught in the crossfire. Every cheating story leaves someone picking up the pieces of what was. Subscribe if you like watching people implode gracefully. There's always another train wreck just a click away.